Hello everyone, and well done for turning out today. It's been a brilliant outreach event. Really enjoyed the other speakers, and before I say a little bit about who I am, I'd just like to say well done to Ronnie. 50 years vegan this year, so can we have a round of applause for Ronnie? Fantastic, and he's still alive. Well done. So, who am I? I'm Doug Maw. I go by the YouTube name Vegangelical. So I've been doing activism of various types for a long time. I first started out as a SAB in the 90s. I'm still sabbing now, although I do all kinds of other things too. And today's talk is because the person who stepped out was going to do one called The End of Hunting. I thought it'd be appropriate to focus on that, so I'll cover some of that area, but just a little brief bit about who I am, where I come from. So at 16 years old I started working in slaughterhouses. So I was a butcher, I was a slaughter worker, I worked in various slaughterhouses, I was an animal farmer, so that was my background. So it just goes to show I'm now, this month, 26 years vegan, that we should never give up on these people. And even though there are some people who we do celebrate their demise, people like Colin Blakemore spring to mind, I hesitate to celebrate anyone's demise who's involved with animal agriculture, because it could easily have been me that we were celebrating dying. So be careful what you wish for, because some of these people may become effective activists with any luck, and hopefully they get to influence those people who are involved in those very industries that they've left. So I could talk a lot about my experiences there, and it can be quite traumatic to go over some of that, but if you're interested, go look at my YouTube channel. There's plenty of talks about it there. Today, as I say, I'm going to focus on hunting. So, the end of hunting. So what's the context? So, not too long ago, Mark Hankinson, the director of the Masters of the Foxhound Association, held webinars with all the hunt masters, and he was exposed, and the webinars were leaked. He was basically admitting that trail hunting is a smokescreen to carry on under the pretext of trail hunting, to carry on illegally hunting wild mammals in breach of the Hunting Act. So this was exposed, and fair play to the law. He was prosecuted and he was fined £1,000 with £2,500 costs for intentionally encouraging or assisting others to commit an offence under the Hunting Act. He's currently appealing that sentence, but it's a sign of progress that we can expose these things and get successful prosecutions. So a lot of people in the field are very wary about police, because our history with the police has not necessarily been a good one. I've been chased all over fields way before the ban came in, and it seems to a lot of SABs that that interest in, now the law has changed, seems to have declined, and they're not quite so interested in catching those breaking the law. However, there is definitely progress and change. I've got a list here that I won't run through of people involved with the hunt that are currently going through courts, who've been successfully charged, at least by the police, quite often let down by the CPS, who mess up the cases. I will mention a couple of those cases because some of them are particularly nasty. So you've got Will Pinkney, who shot 9 hounds, threw them into bins. That isn't actually an offence, but a lot of you will have seen that on social media. That happens all over the place. Fox hunts shoot their hounds, throw them in the bins, and they quite often go off biofuel. Chris Mardles, who Mel is unfortunately acquainted with, he's been charged with GBH. He rode a horse at Mel, and Mel suffered collapsed lung, various broken bones, and again, he's pleaded not guilty, but at least he's in court, and we'll see what happens with him. We've had recently the South Shropshire hunt being prosecuted for trespass and illegal hunting on National Trust land. It's a direct result of the leak of those webinars, because the National Trust were pressured into changing to not support trail hunting or any hunting on their land, and the hunt ignored it, went on, and they followed through and prosecuted. There are various other assaults that I won't go into details of here, but there's also probably the most disgusting one any of us has seen footage of, and I know there are people here, at least one person here was directly involved with capturing that footage, of Paul O'Shea from the East Essex hunt, who illegally captured a fox with a dog and decided it would be a good idea to torture it with a garden fork. I should say the fox, sorry, my apologies. So he tortured the fox with a garden fork, and he's been, if it hadn't been for those SABs who put out the secret cameras, he would never have got caught. If you watch the footage, you can see he's clearly quite used to doing that kind of thing and wasn't thinking twice about it. His daughter was laughing. She's obviously used to seeing it as well. The charges against her were dropped, but the charges against him continued, and he pleaded guilty last week to 2 charges: breach of the Hunting Act and causing unnecessary suffering to a wild animal. So we're looking forward to seeing what sentence that gets, and we'll compare it to those brave people who went into MBR and liberated beagles, and let's see how just our society is when we compare the sentencing of these people who torture animals with those who liberate them. So let's hope there's some proper justice served there. So that's some of the cruelty and legal side. We've seen also examples of one thing that astounded me. I saw a story on the news of a guy running a speedboat at dolphins, and it just sickens me that people can be so depraved and be so dissociated from the rest of the animal kingdom that they think it's okay to try and torture and kill dolphins by aiming speedboats at them. And then it emerged that this guy is a terrierman for the Derwent hunt. So no surprise there. These guys who claim to love animals, claim to do what they do to protect the countryside, they're just sick, perverted animal abusers. And that is one more instance of where the hunt get off on just torturing animals. So yeah, the context is that the webinar leak has led to all kinds of changes, both in terms of where the hunt can go and in terms of prosecutions. But the other context is SABs have changed their tactics. So SABs have become increasingly good at monitoring as well as sabotaging hunts. So you're getting telescopic lens cameras, you're getting drone footage, you're getting hidden cameras like I mentioned with the Paul O'Shea case, and they're able to show the police the offences taking place. And many SABs now wear GoPros so they can capture a lot of the assaults that so frequently take place on them. We've still got a battle to encourage them to report those offences, because if they don't report them, the police can only go on what's reported to them, so they're going to get all the reports from the pro-hunt people who are saying we're doing this, that and the other. But unless and until we start reporting them, the police are not likely to act on them. So I encourage SABs to report every single instance of assault and harassment from the hunt and their supporters. So that's changed the way we're capturing evidence attached to the hunt, and there's been all kinds of successes in terms of where hunts are allowed or not allowed to hunt now. So after the webinars we had Forestry England, National Resources Wales, the Lake District National Park, National Trust eventually after balloting their members. We've had various councils banning hunting on their land. So these are all successes due to the monitoring of SABs, the activity of SABs, and the leaked webinars. So what other successes are there, and what else would point towards the demise of the hunting fraternity. So the Massive Foxhounds Association and the AMHB amalgamated recently to form the British Hound Sports Association. They've amalgamated because their name is mud, and even their own members are criticising them. So there are hunts closing down throughout the country, which is always something to be celebrated, while new SAB groups are springing up all over the place. So if their own hunts are criticising them, they're in all kinds of trouble. I'll read here a direct quote from Elspeth Carr from the Tannatside hunt on hearing about the hunting office's announcement that they're going to amalgamate and change the name of their organisation. She says, and this is a hunter, "This comes too late for our hunt that has just folded due to the loss of so much country as a direct result of the almighty cock-ups of the previous governing body. We've been riding to hounds on the Welsh borders since the 18th century, but the brainless arrogance of the administrators of hunting in recent times meant various bodies withdrew licences and permission to trail hunt over their land, leaving us with insufficient country to carry on. We are devastated." Well, we are not. We celebrate that. And we should now focus on putting the final nails in the coffins of the hunting industry, and we should get out and SAB, join your local SAB groups. During the off season, there's still mink hunting and otter hunting going on. There's still shooting. I go out on estates. I can't name them because I don't want to be known in those estates. Go out in estates and find snares, traps, and all sorts of horrific things. Stanford Hall is one of those places, so I'll just leave that there with you. Those of you going to camp out, if you do go, please lobby them to change the venue next year, not have one that traps and snares wild animals for fun, as well as shooting animals for fun. So also, if you do go there, if you get some free time, go round to the woodland, round the edges, the crop cover, and take a look. You'll find snares, you'll find traps, and the BS that you're hearing in defence of that place will be exposed to you, and you can make your own mind up based on what you find there. So, is hunting coming to an end? They will fight, they will continue to try and preserve their sick traditions because they get off on killing animals. We've seen that through some of the examples I've given and some of the court cases are going through, and some of those sick pleasures they get out of torturing dolphins and others, for example. These are the kind of people that you're dealing with. So they will fight, they don't want to lose this, but we must keep on the pressure, keep monitoring, go out, support SABs, fund them, join them, and try and get this barbaric so-called sport consigned to history where it belongs. Thank you.